Shet Vidya Mandir English High School and Junior College of Science and Commerce and at Vasai East. Students, you are welcome to the online lecture session. Subject is English for Standard 10th Maharashtra Board. Students, I, Mrs. Archana Bathija, who teach English for this standard of higher level English, have often noticed that students find difficult to complete their grammar lessons. Students, you can achieve success in grammar only when you practice. Practice is very important. Here we take up the topic transformation of sentences. I hope you have started practicing this from the previous videos also, from the different types of sentences. In these two videos, we are dealing with simple, compound and complex sentences. Simple, compound and complex sentence structures play a very important role not only in your grammatical structures as well as your other writing skills. Now students, for a pre-cap, I take up with the beginning, like what is a sentence? A sentence is a group of words which makes complete sense. It has a subject and a predicate, maybe a finite verb and some other components too. A sentence, or you can say a sentence, a simple sentence is a group of words which makes complete meaning. What is a phrase? A phrase is a group of words that does not contain a subject, a verb and a predicate, but yet it is a group of words that is in incomplete sense. What is a clause, students? A clause is a group of words that contains a subject, a verb and is used as a part of the sentence. It is not an independent sentence, but it is a part of a sentence containing the subject and the verb. Now here there are three examples for you, a related way of examples so that you can understand the difference. What is a sentence? It is a beautiful sunset. By in itself, it is a complete sentence. What is a phrase? It is a sunset of great beauty. The group of words of great beauty is a phrase which you can imply while making a sentence. A clause. It was a sentence. It was a sunset which was full of beauty. So you have expanded the phrase into a clause. It was a sunset which was full of beauty, which helps you to expand the phrase into a clause. These components are very important when we are dealing with a simple sentence, compound sentence and complex sentence. As we study simple, compound and complex sentences, I have divided the videos into analysis, transformation and synthesis of the sentences. Let me first make it clear what are these different concepts. What do you mean by analysis? What do you mean by transformation of sentences? And what do you understand by synthesis of sentences? Analysis of sentence is to understand the sentence, to identify what is a simple sentence, what is a compound sentence and what is a complex sentence. What are its different components? Transformation of sentence means to change from one kind of sentence to another. Like to change a simple sentence to a complex sentence. The first step which I mentioned earlier was that you expand the phrase into a bigger clause. He bought his uncle's bike is a simple sentence having a subject and a predicate. When you change it to complex sentence, you expand the phrase. He bought the bike which belonged to his uncle using the subordinator which. What do you mean by synthesis of sentences? Synthesis of sentences is a combination of two or more sentences into a different kind. For example, two simple sentences can be combined into one simple sentence or one compound or one complex sentence. For example, two simple sentences. The moon rose. Their journey was not ended. You combine it to make a simple sentence. Again, the moon rose before the end of their journey. or you change it into a compound or complex sentence depending on the subordinator or a conjunction. To understand and analyze what are simple sentences, what are compound sentences, and what are complex sentences. We begin with simple sentence. A simple sentence is one that has only one independent clause. By itself is a complete sentence. It has one subject and one predicate with a finite verb. The other phrases, the noun phrase, the adjective phrase, prepositional phrase, or adverbials are attached to the independent clause itself. There are three different examples for you to understand what is a simple sentence. The road to Goa is very long. The road is the subject. To Goa is the prepositional phrase. Very long, the attribute very describes the length of the road. Very long is the adverbial phrase. Second example, the moon was bright. The moon is the subject. Was bright is the predicate. A simple sentence. Third example, we could see our way. We is the subject. Could see is a verb. Our way. Could see our way is the predicate. So there is no confusion about a simple sentence. Now, if you understand simple sentence properly, you are able to understand what are compound sentences. A compound sentence is one that has two or more independent clauses, or you can say two or more independent sentences joined by a conjunction or a coordinator. Both the sentences are independent and meaningful by themselves. A compound sentence is made up of two or more main clauses. So both the sentences are termed as main clauses. Now the example put up on your screen. The moon was bright and we could see our way. In the previous example, we read the moon was bright, we could see our way. Combine it with a conjunction and. Other forms of compound sentences are also sentences that are used with not only but also, either or, neither nor, as well as. To make a compound sentence, two or more independent clauses are combined with which conjunction, students? And, but, or. Some of the filtered examples put up for you. It rained, but the weather was hot. Second example. Either the train is late or it has left the station. By itself, you can understand there is a conjunction which makes meaning to the two different sentences having their own subjects and own predicates. Now we move to the next type of sentence, that is the complex sentence. Complex sentence is a little different from compound sentence. A complex sentence is one that has only one main clause, but it has, along with the main clause, it has one or more subordinate or dependent clauses. Now here we mention the term dependent clauses. So these subordinate clause in the complex sentence is dependent on the main clause for its meaning. By itself, the subordinate clause does not have a meaning of its own. It is incomplete. The subordinators in the complex sentence combine the two clauses to form a meaningful sentence. The different subordinators, depending upon the kinds of subordinate clauses, are who, because, which, whom, although, that, if, when, still you go on with it, until, unless. There are many more subordinators as you practice and you explore the sentences. The three kinds of subordinate clauses are noun clause, that does the work of a noun. Adjective clause describes the noun in the sentence. And adverb clause describes the function of the verb. Now here the example for you is, they are the boys who are participating in the play. They are the boys by itself is a main clause. Students, if you understand the subordinate clause, it has its meaning only when it is written along with the main clause. The subordinate clause is who are participating in the play. Doesn't it sound incomplete? Yes, it does. It is meaningful when only it is written with the main clause. What is a subordinator here? It is who. They are the boys who are participating in the play. So now this is which type of a main clause and a subordinate clause that you have to identify with the function of the subordinate clause. So now students, here we are very clear with the type of sentence, phrase and clause initially, and later on with the kinds of sentences. On your screen you have some examples. Identify the kinds of sentences and identify the clauses. Please do this work in your notebook thoroughly well. Read out each sentence and find out its type, as well as if it is a compound or complex. Please tell the clauses, the main clause and the subordinate clause, etc. Thank you, students.